Yep. We gotta get her binocular. She should have it on. She should have it on the screen. All right. Okay, guys, notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, being held today, Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 at 6:30 PM at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas, where a quorum of the City Council will be present. All agenda items are subject to action. The City Council is also hosting a town hall during the regular City Council meeting to allow citizens comments, questions, and input regarding potential development at Lamb Road and Interstate Highway 37. Madam Secretary, may I get a call to order?
Yes, sir. Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado. Here. Alderwoman Martinez.
Here.
Alderman Fillinger.
Here.
Alderman Rapino.
Here.
Alderman Coffenbacher.
Here.
You have the city secretary and the city attorney. You can have a response.
The time is now officially 6:31. May I get everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving to item 3, Town Hall to receive presentation by the McDonald Development regarding potential development at the Lamb Road and Interstate Highway 37 and allow for citizens' comments, questions, and input. The City Council may limit the time allocated to the Town Hall portion of the meeting to continue with items for the regular meeting. It is now 6:32. Okay, Caroline, if you'd like to take the floor.
Maybe over there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe best. Okay.
You want to
Thank you.
sit on that chair too?
Okay.
That may be better.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here. My name is Caroline McDonald. I'm with Brown and Ortiz, a firm in San Antonio, Texas. I have Lindsay Young here with me. She's also with Brown and Ortiz. And then my client, R.W. McDonald. We are not related. We just have the same last name. But we're here this evening to tell you a little bit about the development that's coming just to the north of Sandy Oaks. It's right at Lamb Road and Priest Road.
Let me come up behind you.
Okay.
I didn't know you had a
Thingy.
You're gonna have two of them?
They're the same one.
Okay.
So,
Just put them on the camera.
Get right there.
Yeah, away.
Get right there.
Very. Maybe we could just put one in there and the same.
Or just put them at the bottom.
Just one. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. So, yes, Lamb Road, Priest Road. My client, RW, owns about 520 acres. It's been primarily agricultural. It was annexed by the city of San Antonio back in 2016. It was, they came under contract, I think in 2019, 2020, and we went through a rezoning process in 2021 with the city of San Antonio to rezone it from, I think it was an ag designation, and we rezoned it to allow for a manufactured home community. So this is a very big tract. We are planning to preserve about 115 acres for open space. There will be a community center as well as a pool and playscape pavilion and barbecue stations. There's about 600 residential lots planned right now. And so with that, there's a lot of improvements that are associated with something this size. The development will be in 2 phases. The first phase will be about half of the lots, would you say? And begin February of 2024, with phase 2 beginning about June 2026. So with this development, there are varying lot sizes, the largest being about 2 acres. all the way down to a fourth of an acre. So some of the public infrastructure that's coming in will be roadway improvements, utility extensions, including water. And our primary access points will be onto Lamb Road up to 1604 or Lamb Road to Priest Road up to 1604. Development will be very costly just because of some of those utility connections and infrastructure improvements that we will be making. So the project is going to be about $27 million. So we've reached out to City of San Antonio, let them know what's going on. We met with Commissioner Clay Flores, and she asked us to please reach out to Mayor Martinez and to the city to get some of y'all's questions answered and see what input you have, since you're definitely more familiar with the area than we are. But I'm going to turn it over to RW and let him introduce himself and his company and just give some background on what you do.
Sure. RW McDonald Development Group. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to y'all tonight. As mentioned, 530 acre tract, purchased a couple of years ago. We also have we're a full service real estate development company, do subdivisions, industrial buildings, office buildings, pretty much all commercial construction. We have another project going on down the street in Elmendorf where we have about 1,300 acres there and 3,500 to 4,000 homes. We're under construction on that project. Worked with the City of Elmendorf and Cody Daly for several years on that one, and purchased this property. Excited to have it, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions, comments, concerns, issues, anything that anybody has.
I'll start out.
Yes, sir.
Road development, what's your plans there?
Private roads maintained by essentially an HOA.
Okay, Lamb Road, is it gonna be improved?
Yeah, so as of right now, what the conversation is that we have to do deceleration lanes on Lamb Road. But Lamb Road is actually a strange road where it's half city, half county. And so all they do is just kind of point at each other and say, no, it's their responsibility, it's their responsibility. So to be perfectly honest, I have no doubt that y'all are probably more offended by the situation since it's right there, but it's been exhausting.
My concern
Sure.
is the city emergency management. That's our secondary means of egress here.
Mhm.
If you're putting 800 homes there, did I hear that right?
600.
Yes, but not changing your point. Yeah.
600.
Yep.
That's 1,800 more people on Lamb Road.
Mhm.
When it's developed, and if we have a hazmat spill on 37 out here,
Sure.
everybody's wanting to leave. I'm just concerned about, what's the upgrade on the road gonna look like?
Rightfully so. So, I mean, the general process is that you conduct a traffic impact analysis, which is based on your proposed density, and then they go out and they evaluate every, intersection within a couple miles. On this one, they went down and actually called out some improvements that needed to be made on 1604 and 37, but it did not call out widening of Lamb Road on our traffic impact analysis. One thing that it did call out though was there was a drainage issue on there's like a box culvert.
Thank you.
Yeah, currently a heavy
Right.
rain, Lamb Road is closed.
Right here where there's floodplain here. And so what we have to do on that one is we have to essentially dedicate some of our land for a detention pond to basically store water there for basically to protect traffic on Lamb Road so water doesn't overflow. So going into a couple of different things, probably not answering really what you want, because I'm sure you want Lamb Road to be expanded, as do I. I just we wouldn't have the ability to do that.
Sure, and part of the improvements that are called for are evaluated during the plating process. And so they're very early on in the plating process. They have submitted a plat to the city of San Antonio because they are in the city limits. And so during that process, through the TIA, the traffic impact analysis that he mentioned, the city and their engineers evaluate the traffic that this development will put on Lamb Road. And they have to do the improvements that are roughly proportional to the amount of traffic that they're putting onto the road. And so through the first round of the analysis, I think it was determined that deceleration lanes, improvements to address drainage are called for. But I think as we continue our conversations with the county and the city on who's responsible for the road, additional improvements may be called out for, they may not. So
Yeah,
we're very early on.
Yeah, we're dedicating additional right of way on Lamb Road.
Mhm.
So I mean, it'll be there. It's just a large project.
Mhm.
Well, 600 homes, you're looking at 1,200 vehicles. 75% of them are gonna be in and out daily, so
Mhm.
it's a concern.
I understand, sir.
But that also brings us to the other concern. Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna chime in on the villager's concern on traffic. I don't see a lot of young people here, but I do take my grandkids to school occasionally. And traffic has been backed up onto 37, people exiting to get off to go to the elementaries. I see you putting 600 more families in there and everybody trying to take their kids to school. There's just, it's gonna be a big traffic jam, a log right there. The folks from Sandy Oaks trying to get to the school and folks from your subdivision also trying to get to school. You almost need a flyover coming off.
Yeah.
You know, four. I mean, it's a big concern. To me, it's a big concern.
I totally understand. And I mean, I think at its highest level, though, I would love to be able to answer all of y'all's questions and say, yes, we can absolutely resolve this issue and we can do this, but there's only so much that one project can do. And really, the issue here is actually TxDOT. So it's a state issue, which.
Are you gonna be reaching out to TxDOT?
Sure, I'll reach out with everybody here. I'm all for capital expenditures in this area, expanding roadways. I'm willing to do my fair share. But really to resolve the issue, TxDOT could solve that by extending an access road into this project or just giving us the right to do it and we would do it.
Don't know that an access road would really cure anything.
Sure.
Everybody getting onto the highway from here, joining in with the folks from Sandy Oaks, we're still gonna have a traffic law, a jam.
Sure.
At the exit. It's still gonna be, you're adding how many more families trying to get to these schools? We've got 2 elementaries now. We've got a middle school, we got folks going to the high school, we're probably gonna end up with another middle school and an elementary before it's all said and done. We're talking about how many more children from your subdivision are gonna be, integrated into our school system.
Sure.
So it's a big concern, it's a big concern.
It's not just Lamb Road, it's also Priest Road.
Yeah,
Sure.
Because not only are the people gonna be going out on Lamb Road, hitting up 1604, they're gonna be coming up Priest Road. I know right now in the mornings, yes, sir, you'll be next. Right now in the mornings, I watch as traffic is already slowing up and down on Priest Road with the school buses we have. Let alone when there's a traffic from different trash collectors coming through. Not only when there is traffic from myself and many others going to work. Cause I leave about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning,
6:15 if you're late.
6:15 if I'm late, there you go. So I'm out there with these guys,
Yeah.
seeing what's going on.
Yep.
So that's part of our concern. And during the construction, I know you guys aren't gonna be rolling in and out just on Lamb Road, but they're gonna be using Priest Road. The heavy equipment you're gonna be bringing through, tearing up our roads for this community. Who's gonna be responsible for fixing them? Because right now, if it's gonna be us, we don't have the money to fix roads. We're barely fixing what we got now on bills that were passed years
who's
ago.
responsible for maintenance on Priest Road? City of San Diego.
That's us,
That's us.
two Lamb Road.
Yep.
And when you're talking about the city of San Antonio and the county only maintains about 200 feet of Lamb Road now.
Sure.
The city of Sandy Oaks is actually responsible for Lamb Road around the corner for the first property. Then there's another property and then there's you. So the county only has a couple hundred feet of Lamb Road. The increased traffic. And I'm for your development. I think it's gonna have a positive impact, but it's gonna have some negative impact to us. Just in increased traffic on roads that we can barely maintain now.
And that's why we're here today. We want to work with you moving forward. You're so much more aware of the conditions than we are. And so, you know, there is a bond process at the county and they select certain roads to improve every cycle. I know we could probably, you know, get together and talk to Commissioner Clay Flores on some of these concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I would leave the meeting knowing that, that I'm all for assisting and helping and lobbying the county, lobbying TxDOT. I'm willing to put money in to go and assist in this effort. I just can't, I'd be lying and I don't want to lie to you. And I'd be lying if I said that I could solve all those problems. It's that problem's above.
But Jim was next.
Yeah. On your map up there, you have a little diversion in the middle of your plan. And it's not a creek.
The floodplain?
No, that's a major pipeline running straight through that property.
Oh, there's two.
And the reason I know anything about that is because that same thing comes across the far east end of Waterwood Pass. Okay, they got dirt mounded up there to keep the kids and hunters from going down, but that's a pipeline.
What kind of pipeline is it?
Yes.
It's oil and gas. There's right to the, on the north side of your plat.
Yeah.
Right up here, you got excuse me. My age is showing. There's a little gas plant up there. Also, you have a weather system up there. We lost in the past, before the city even, we lost a fire truck. They're handling many crude products in there. Everything's in a drum. And then also, you've got the plant that makes new dirt and it smells.
Compost.
Compost,
Okay.
right, yeah.
Dirt, compost. Okay, so, but I know from the people who live down here going towards Lamb Road, when it really rains heavily here, we haven't had any problem in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But there are black liquid globules rising to the surface. That's called oil, folks. That's called oil. And we need to be careful because you're gonna be going from one side to the other of this thing trying to do things. And just before this city went into operation up here, down this slope, there was a major redo of the pipes in the ground going towards this development. Okay, you're downhill from the top of that hill. It's up here going towards Waterwood Pass Drive. And so I want to bring that to your attention. That problem exists. And we want, I personally, I probably won't be here by the time this whole thing's done, but for the folks that are living here, make sure that you're aware that there are really problem areas. And when I hear David, okay, and others talking about the problem on Priest Road, and Priest Road is just a minor 2-lane road. That when they built the road, Priest Road used to be a sand road when I moved here.
Wow.
That
Dirt. Wow.
they had to use 4 times the amount of lime to firm up the base.
Yep.
And it still wasn't done. Oh, I'm sorry. I ran over.
No, you're fine.
Oh,
You're
you're
fine.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
But that's some of the problems that are gonna go on here. And every one of them can wind up affecting Sandy Oaks.
Understood.
And these five people in the mayor, they got a tough job. And we want to make sure that they're aware of everything.
Mr. Grover? Mr. Grover, you're next.
Okay, question. When y'all get all this started, have you reached out to San Antonio for possible public transportation and stuff? Or is it just gonna be private?
Private as of now, but we have not had any public transit conversations yet.
Okay,
Yes, I've actually looked at the closest bus stop and it's actually very far away.
It's not.
So it'll be an ask, but it's something that we've already started thinking about.
okay.
Close park arrival as on the north.
Yes.
1604 and 181.
Thank you.
And then Goliad and military is your first bus one.
I have a question. You mentioned about the amenities that you're gonna have in there. And are those for strictly the people living in that area? Or is it for open to the public? You know, are they just for the people living there?
Yeah, think of it like an apartment complex where, everybody that inside of it's paying their proportionate share, so it's a private amenity.
I just wanted to verify that's what I really want to say.
Sure.
Mentioning the
So,
pool and all this stuff.
Make a friend there.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah. This doesn't really affect me, but why mobile homes? They have no value.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're mistaken.
They deteriorate compared to.
You're mistaken, sir.
Mobile home.
Beacon has my
Oh, yeah.
$35,000 mobile home, assessed at $85,000. So, I'm just telling the truth.
You got tax value, you have resale. Tax value.
Okay, gentleman in the corner, speak up.
Yeah, I'm curious about the foliage. Are you gonna be clearing the land completely or?
No, it's inside this. Go ahead, I'm sorry, sir.
Do the best you can to keep the foliage around, the trees.
Yeah, so the property is inside the city of San Antonio, so you have to go through their tree preservation plan,
There we go.
so.
2010 tree ordinance.
We're losing every bit of work we got around here.
Commissioner Cavasso had his hand raised first.
Are these going to be rental lots or is it actually gonna be fixed, real estate?
Rental.
Okay, so it's a mobile, like a mobile park, it's in the lots are up to the border, or the 2 acres.
Yeah, so typically, you'd go into what you would call a manufactured home rental community, and it's a
Yeah.
40-foot lot by 8 foot deep, and essentially what we have is, lot sizes that are on average about an acre. So it's just a totally different deal, but yeah, somebody would own the home, we would lease the land, and
Nothing.
yeah, and I mean, we've done both, but the issue is that,
You were saying
You
this,
got a pretty good turnaround then, don't you?
I've got a pretty good turnaround.
Of people coming in and out, moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out.
No,
How long you're leasing?
how long are
If
they?
you're gonna rent a piece of property, say you're doing a half acre, how many months would they have to pay for, or like, it'd be like a lease on a land?
It's like a lease on land.
Yeah. It would.
So until they decide to break it
Lease
or until
You're not
there's,
renting the mobile home, you're just renting.
with the land.
Yeah, we do both. I mean, when we start the subdivision, we'll move in 30, 40, 50, 60 homes. And then we'll lease some, we'll sell some. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're gonna have long-term leases on land, but the thing is there's really not a whole lot of turnover because there's very little turnover in these communities.
Are you gonna provide your own security?
Good question.
Or are you going to the county for police protection?
well, it's San Antonio, right? So I think they're gonna be,
Excuse me?
it's San Antonio,
So it'd be SAPD.
it'd be SAPD.
Yeah. I mean,
It will be gated.
but yeah,
It is a
I mean,
gating.
we might have security, we might not, but I mean, we'd be entitled to.
well, I'm still curious about his question he asked you.
What's that?
Okay, if I'm gonna move on that piece of property, how long does my lease have to be for when I first move in?
How long does somebody want it to be for? I mean,
Oh,
they can sign up.
When it's leased, okay, if I move into an apartment, I have to sign a lease that I will stay in that apartment for a minimum of 12 months.
Right.
If I rent a house from somebody, most people say, okay, sign a lease for 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long is this lease on your property? If I want to move into it, I got my mobile home bought, ready to go.
Yeah.
How long is my lease for? Is it a month-to-month lease that can be broke on any month? Is there a minimum that I have to stay?
Yeah, I mean, it can be structured any way you want it, from 12 months to 120 months, and then it's got automatic renewals. I mean, it's tenant protected to where it just continues to extend.
But the
And
minimum is what to start out with? 1 month, 3 months?
A year.
12 months.
A year.
I guess his concern is that if they can break it, then they're gonna be moving in and out mobile homes.
Well,
But-
the
but-
cost of moving mobile home
Yeah.
is,
So you're hoping that they lose the home there?
no,
No,
did I say that?
No, I'm just saying, you know, because what other option? If they can't move their home and they broke the lease, you're gonna buy it from them?
They would resell it back. Same thing.
gentleman in the blue shirt had his hand up earlier.
Yeah, what about the people that are caught in between the city and that thing? The properties that are in between, they're zoned AG. So you're
Your
gonna get
property
scooped up, eminent domain or something?
Right, just how much land is in between here, you and Priest Road there,
Yeah.
do you know? How
Uh,
much
We've
acres?
got 32 right there.
70, 80 acres maybe?
70, 80 acres.
That's a guess, but yeah.
How wide?
Do you live there, sir? You live back?
Yeah.
Property, we're trying, we were getting ready to move over there because we got sucked up in Sandy Oaks and couldn't have our horses in Sandy Oaks, so we bought property across
Over
the
there.
street so that we could have horses. And then we haven't even moved onto the property and the zoning is gonna change on it, and we're not gonna be able.
Are we gonna lose our AG status?
No,
You should.
no, that you, only if you apply for it.
The grandfather in.
Well, that's
Can we do that?
we can't change your zoning,
No.
only you can
Okay.
change your zoning.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure, cause it looked like everything was.
The girl's
getting-
property is in San Antonio, right?
Yes.
It's
Bear
Fairfield,
County.
no, it's not in
You
San
don't-
Antonio.
you
it's
don't have
Fairfield.
zoning,
Yes.
so.
Okay, that's a relief,
But if
Yeah.
San Antonio annexes your site,
which is
They're very
definitely a
limited
possibility.
in their
That
ability
may
to
change.
annex right now. They're
No.
very limited.
San Antonio isn't gonna change their zoning, and they're probably not gonna annex them.
well,
But they don't change the ag exemption. If you have it, you have it.
sometimes they,
Well, they have to change the
Yeah.
zoning through a legal.
or sometimes
process.
they skip over you and don't annex you because it happened over here off of 181 and Blue Wing Road where they annexed.
I would not be concerned about
Yeah.
one being annexed and two
Mr. Crickmore had a question.
changing.
I got here late, I apologize. I was curious as to where are the entrances? And who's got the utilities on that?
2 entrances on Lamb Road, emergency access on Priest and Saws Water. And then we're working right now with Saws to possibly extend sewer, could be on a private plan.
You may make a sewer plant there.
That's what
Sewer
that,
plan or septic system, but we're trying to extend sewer.
Is that the Saws Water that's going along I-37 that they're doing some, looks like utility work?
Yeah, so part of our service agreement with Saws is that we have to run a 8-inch water line down and connect it back to Priest Road, but also connect it back over to I-37 just to kind of loop the system.
On the far side of 37 or this side of 37? Because traffic is gonna be bad on the far side of 37, looping back to come to Priest Road. Could look like Foster
Mayor
Road.
Martinez.
I'm talking about water
Yeah, I got
connections.
You're good, you got the. Okay, Captain.
What's to stop you from turning that emergency exit entrance to a normal? So you're gonna have, again,
Well, where is that emergency exit exactly located? Can you point
I
it
think
out
it's
on the
where
map?
that pipeline is. Somewhere around there.
Where
do
would
you
that
know where the
emergency
guy is
exit
with
be?
the doors?
Yeah.
It's gonna be right,
Yeah.
Somewhere right in here.
right next to
Yeah,
him.
so what's the
What's
stop
to
in the
stop
future?
you? It's gonna be right next to him.
You just put a normal access there for
Yeah.
people to come out of there, and now we're dealing with a ton of traffic on Priest
Exactly.
Road.
It's the
Those are the
easiest
kind of
way to
things that
get
we
there.
need to be worried about.
Yes,
Is what your future plans, once you get this done and you see, oh, well, that Lamb Road exit thing is not working, it's just too much, we gotta get that bottleneck out of there. Well, let's just use
They're
that
gonna open
emergency
that
exit,
road.
we'll make that a permanent exit. Now we gotta deal with all of that traffic on Reach Road. If there's an accident on 37 and they shut down 37 on either, be coming from the south. And everybody exits, all the southbound traffic exits and comes down Priest Road, it happens all, everybody's coming down Priest Road.
And Mr. Travis,
I would-
Priest Road, it's also in front of all the shops.
I would address that.
Right,
All
yeah.
of them.
I would address that, sir. If it's coming out by the guy with the door top,
Mhm.
that's in the city of Sandy Oaks, and we'll talk to him about a driveway permit when he gets ready to open that up.
It's not gonna be, Charles, it's next door to the guy, so if you go down Priest Road, it's the little bitty property. Before you get to the door guy, it's the property literally next door to him,
We're gonna annex that.
okay?
I'm just saying, that's gonna be a big headache. I just see, you got all those folks coming out there exiting on Priest, on Lamb,
In front of my house.
and then everybody's coming out of Sandy Oaks.
Okay.
And the refinery.
7 o'clock in the morning. That, I mean, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, not a big deal.
Use
I'm talking about 7 a.m.
You own
Everybody's
the-
trying to get their kids to school.
Oh.
And then, so now you say, well, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and make that Priest Road exit or access, we're gonna just make that permanent as well. So you should have a two means of egress anyway. I think when the fire department hits this thing, they're gonna say, wait a minute, you gotta have another means of egress. You can't just
It'll
have
be ours.
one road coming out of this subdivision with all these people.
There's two on Lamb Road. There's 2 points of ingress egress on Lamb Road.
And only one. on
But you're
Free-
bottlenecking Lamb Road, you're gonna turn that, you're gonna turn your piece of property into an entrance to that, so that piece, that land. South Florida.
So, Yeah.
So,
If y'all don't want the permanent access on Priest Road.
No way.
No,
Not at all, I mean, you're just then opening up Priest Road and our city streets.
No.
Our taxis all pay for that.
Yeah, we don't have authority to get traffic to that subdivision.
You'd be better off getting with TxDOT and making an access road and improving the exit to get off on 1604 with wider access, wider roads with turn lanes, the whole 9 yards.
I agree 100%.
That's the only,
You live in Antonio,
To the extent that there could be some kind of petition from the city here,
Oh, yeah.
we would love to take that to the tech stop.
Mhm.
I would much rather have access off of 537.
before I go, yeah,
I just think we're gonna have to live with it. We're gonna have to experience it before TxDOT does anything,
Yeah.
because they're gonna wanna come in and do a traffic survey.
Yeah.
So we're gonna sit here and have to bite the bullet for a couple years,
3 to 5
2 years.
Jim,
before it gets done.
thank you. Jim, before I get to you, just a quick question, sir. So have you done any like environmental analysis on like the Lubrizol plant and then the dirt company? Because I mean, I live probably what are we, 2 miles, 3 miles from that?
about 2 miles, yeah.
And I mean, when there's a low pressure in the city, I mean, the whole city stinks
Yep.
and y'all are next door to it. So I
Yeah,
mean,
we've done top to bottom environmental, so phase 1, wetland, endangered species, archaeological, top to bottom.
and so have you, I mean, obviously you can't now, but
That's the
are you gonna relay that to your people that buy there that it's gonna stink,
Those things 24/7.
yeah, 24/7, but you're that close.
Gonna be removed.
Yeah.
The smell too.
I hope T-Check likes it.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just that, I mean, I know you're probably not gonna tell them, but at that time, I think it should be disclosed that there's gonna be
A grease plant.
a grease plant, and then there's gonna be pretty much a permanent odor there as they're living there. I mean, if you spent any time in that general area, it doesn't smell nicely, so.
Yeah.
Jim, sorry, I don't know his last
Yeah,
name.
getting back,
Clemens, sorry,
deviating from where the discussion
that's right.
has been leading right now.
We're friends.
Have you ever heard of the new gold? It's called water.
Water. Yeah.
Where this plant is where this facility is right here. It's uphill from a 500,000 gallon water tank. That water tank, when it was put in, was too small.
That's my concern.
And it's free flow. Once you bring the water up to it, that tank is free flow to keep the water pressure throughout this whole subdivision. And the only backup we have, once the tank goes down, there are 3 passages of water onto this side of the interstate. 1604 crosses 37. Waterwood Pass comes out and goes down across the highway over to the other side. That's where everybody gets off and crosses over it, and down at Hardy Road, crossing Interstate 37. Now, if something happens in here where we are in a need, which could be very possible, even though we got 3 greater than 18-inch passageways across the interstate. What happens to our little community up here? Because the tank supports the primary hours of activity in this community. Mom and dad getting up, getting ready for work, getting the kids out. The kids come home, mom and dad getting the kids ready for school the next day. And that's why you have these water tanks. And I would hate to see if the diligence to handle any situation like that would dearly be looked into, because that is our only supply of water.
Is it provided by SAW or,
It used to be, it was originally put in by Bear Met.
but is managed by SAW?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, all of our water diligence, all of our, everything has gone through SAW. And like I said, we're actually looping the system to better supply water and maintain a better supply of water.
Does it have looping right now or no?
Where you're looking.
Priest Road, Lamb Road, I-37. Big loop, expensive loop.
Okay, so in that situation, you're using primarily the water that crosses 37 down at the Four Corners.
I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know. SAW handles all of that analysis, and they just tell us, you have to loop here, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And in this instance, they said you have to put in close to $2 million